All right, hello Ethan and whoever else is watching this. This is contingency tables. This is like the part B of section 8.7, but you don't need your 8.7 notes out for this. This page is one-sided, and we will do number 1 and number 2 together. Whoa. We'll do number 1 and number 2 together. That's like the notes part of it, okay? Your homework is to do number 3, and that's it. Okay, and then we'll turn this paper in tomorrow for homework, all right? So here we go, 1 and 2. This is contingency tables. I like analyzing this data because a lot of times you find out that like decisions that are made in the medical field are not the best decisions based upon statistics and stuff, you know? Contingency tables are also called two-way frequency tables. Write that down. A contingency table is also called a two-way frequency table. So we have two things that are happening, okay? We have, if we look at this two-way frequency table, we have how the test is resulting, positive or negative, and then we have actually what the result is, okay? So here's the deal. Let's just talk about this table real quick. Are you guys ready? Everybody listen. So let's take this, we're talking about a pet here, or like a dog or something here, but let's relate this to like way back when we had COVID, right? Like a couple years ago when we had COVID, all right? Having the skin condition or having COVID, this is COVID people and this is no COVID, okay? Don't write this down. Don't write this down. I'm just like giving you an example that you can relate to. So COVID and non-COVID. And then you have a test positive, test negative, right? If you have COVID and you take a test, you should test positive. But every once in a while, you get the people over here that are testing negative when they actually have COVID, right? And this is called a false negative. True? False negative. Okay. If you don't have COVID, what should happen? You should test negative, right? You should be in this category. But every once in a while, you'll have people trickle into here, and this is called a prank. False positive. You've heard of false positives occurring all the time in the news, like false positive tests for COVID, right? Like some of you guys might have even gotten a false positive test, okay? And that happens. Like that happens quite frequently because not every test is 100% effective, okay? So that's the way that this breaks down. Do you see how this is a two-way frequency table? Okay? All right, so let me go back to the pets example. All right, here we go. Lots of questions we have to answer. We're going to fill the table in first. Ready? You got to listen. There are going to be two percentages that they're going to give to me. The first thing says 2.5% of the Schnauzer breed of dog come in for a visit that has the skin condition. So I'm going to say skin condition. Put this off to the side. Is 2.5%. 2.5% of all dogs have this skin condition typically. 2.5%. Now we have a test for the skin condition, and the test is 94% effective, which means that 94% of the time it's doing what it's supposed to. So if you have the skin condition, you're testing positive 94% of the time. 6% of the time you're getting a false result, right? 94% of the time you're getting a true result, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Those are the two pieces of information it gives me. Now notice that these don't add up to be 100% as they're not related to each other. One is talking about the skin condition and one is talking about the test. Those don't add up to be 100%, okay? They have nothing to do with one another. One is telling me one thing, one is telling me another thing. We are going to start with, and all of the tables that we do, you're going to create your own table down here for example 3. All of the tables that we're doing are going to have 100,000 down here at the bottom because it's a really nice number that percentages go into really nicely and all that good stuff. So we're going to start with a really big number. It says we're going to put 100,000 Schnauzers down at the bottom, okay? We could have put whatever number down at the bottom that we want to, but like percentage-wise, taking the percentages of 100,000 is really nice. Okay, so we're going to take into consideration this 2.5% of all dogs have the skin condition, okay? All dogs having the skin condition, regardless of how they test, 2.5% goes there, right? So if we have 100,000 dogs total, 2.5% is how many dogs that have the skin condition?
250. Right? No?
Probably 200.
2,500. Now, how do you do that if you don't know the math?
Oh, yes.
2.5% is 0.025.
What was that?
And we're going to take 0.025 times 100,000,
I
right?
thought we were doing
Okay.
0.25.
2.5% is 2,500, right? Okay, now that means that how many don't have the skin condition? You can either subtract these, or you can take 97.5%, right? Okay, so how many won't have the skin condition if you either subtract or take the other percentage? 97,500, okay? So, the majority of dogs, like the major majority of dogs, don't have this skin condition. Only a few are, right? 2,500, okay? All right, now we're going to look at the test. Okay, so we have two different categories of dogs. Either they have it or they don't have it, right? And of these dogs that have it, of these 2,500 dogs that are infected with this certain skin condition, 94% of those dogs are testing how?
Negative.
If they have the skin condition, they should test positive 94% of the time that's happening.
Is Araceli in there?
Yes, she is.
She needs to leave now, please.
Okay. I'll send this to you, Araceli. Okay? All right, so what is 94% of 2,500?
But I feel you.
Or how do you find that? You're going to have to do this on your own, so make sure you're listening.
0.94 times.
0.94 times the 2,500.
Goofy.
Remington.
Okay, and that goes here. How many is that? 94% of 2,500. Somebody do that on a calculator. Grab a calculator. Somebody do it. 94% of 2,500. How many is that?
Life becomes fun when you don't care about
23
people's
something.
feelings.
I don't know. 2350. Am I right?
Yeah.
Ha! I'm so
Yeah.
smart. Okay, what percent of the time are they testing negative?
I'm just guessing.
What percent of the time are they testing negative? 6%, right? 94% effective test. That means 6% of the time they're not. Or you could subtract these two. 2,500 minus that will give you the other ones. 150. Okay, let's talk about these, right?
You flip
What?
What?
Okay, let's talk about these categories of people or dogs. What's happening to these 150 dogs right here?
They're getting diagnosed with a skin condition.
No, they're not getting diagnosed. They have the skin condition, but they're not getting diagnosed.
Oh, yes.
Which means they're sick, but they're not getting treated for it because they're not testing positive. True?
You're gonna die.
Like these dogs are testing negative, right? But they actually have this, so they're getting a false negative. So they are sick dogs, but they are not getting treated because they're not testing positive, right? So that's the problem with this category. This is a false negative, right? True? Makes sense? Okay, now let's do the other one. So there are 97,500 that are in the not sick category. Okay? What percent of the time are they testing positive? 6%. 6% of the time they're doing what they're not supposed to, right? So what's 6% of 97,500?
That's a great question.
You take it times 0.06 is what it would be.
Remington, you realize 6 more weeks.
That's gonna be a
and then you're rid
big,
of me.
still kind of a big number ish. 5850. Okay, and then 94% of the time they're gonna test negative, like they're supposed to, right? If they don't have the skin condition, they should test negative. How many is that? Like 91, 150. Is that true? Are you sure? 91, 150. Okay. All right. So let's talk about these people over here. This one in pink. These are my positive testers with no skin condition. What's happening to them?
Remington,
What's happening to?
unfortunately,
Okay, you guys gotta
won't
listen
take
because this is the part that you really gotta understand.
That they don't have.
Gordon, shush. Pay attention. Shush. Pay attention. Okay. What's happening to these people? This 5850.
They don't have it.
Show you dominance, right?
They don't have it, but they're testing positive. So what's happening to them?
They get their treatment.
They're getting treated for
Nothing.
nothing, for no reason. Okay, let's talk about all the people who are getting treated here. Who's getting treated?
100,000
Dogs.
These guys right here. All these positive testers. True? Okay, look at which number is bigger out of that category.
Just like
Out of all of the ones that are treated, the bigger category actually don't have the skin condition. True?
Yeah.
There's more dogs getting treated for not having the condition than there are getting treated that do have the condition. True? Yes? Okay, how many total dogs are getting treated? Like, what's this total number right here? If we add this together. 0, 0. Carry the 1, 2. 8,200. Okay.
I'm so
What's the
left
point of
with
that?
dominance.
All right.
I won't take the disrespect to Lane.
Okay, that means testing negative is 91,300.
Yeah.
That does not add up to be 100,000. We didn't do something right.
That's what I meant. When are we supposed to take
It's only-
94% times the 97?
Yes.
Okay, that wasn't what. I'm pretty sure it's 91,160 times 97,500 is 91,650.
91,650.
Yeah.
91,650. That sounds better. So this is 91,800. True, I think. Yeah, that adds up to 100,000. True. Okay. All right. So let's answer some questions. We have our breakdowns of our totals here. Okay. Find the probability of the skin condition given that the result is positive. Okay. So how many people are positive?
Too many.
82.
8,200. Now, of those people, how many have the skin condition?
220.
2350. Okay, what percent is that? We're doing has over positive. What's
84.
2350 divided by
90,
8,200?
94.
0.28.
So 28%. Okay. All right. What's happening to this 28%?
Get treated.
They're getting treated, and do they have it or not have it? So these are getting treated like they're supposed to, which means that what percent are getting treated when they don't need it? 72% equals treated for nothing.
Did that also happen with COVID?
Probably. Okay, they're treated for nothing. They're getting the treatment that they don't actually have. Well, there's no treatment for COVID either. They just make you quarantine. So there probably was a high percentage of you guys that were having to quarantine for no reason, just because you tested positive. and it was
Honestly,
false
I'd
positive.
rather be away